I'm Kyle with Cabot Guns. I'm going to show you how to take apart one of our S103 model 1911s. So the first thing you want to do is take the grips off. I have a handled driver here, but you will have the correct Allen head screwdriver to remove these grip screws. So take all 4 of these off. And now you're ready to take it apart. So we will start with the upper. The first thing you're going to want to do is basically field strip the gun. I like to cock the hammer first so you can pull the slide back easily. And line up the first notch cut into the slide with the top of the slide stop. Then you can push it from the other side with your finger, and it'll come out enough that you can usually get a fingernail under there and just pull the slide stop all the way out. Now when you let the slide forward, before you push it off the end of the gun, I like to actually wrap my fingers underneath the dust cover here because the spring is going to want to relax as soon as you pull the slide off, so it's good to have something there to catch it. So you can push the slide forward and just hold it tight with your hand, and the spring will stay where it's supposed to be. Now when you're going to let go, you want to make sure that you're ready to catch it. So now the spring and the guide rod will come out as one assembly there. Guide rod cap right behind it. And now you can turn the bushing until the lug on the bushing is lined up with the relief in the slide, and the bushing itself will come right out of the end of it, as will the barrel. All that's left on the slide to disassemble is the extractor, the firing pin. I like to take a bench block so that you have a little bit of room below it so that you can push that down. If you don't have a special tool for this, you just need to depress it with a screwdriver or something that pushes the firing pin in far enough that it's past the firing pin stop. Got a couple taps there. Sometimes you need a little bit of a hammer. Pull the firing pin out, and then you can pull the extractor out as well. And that's it for the slide. Now for the lower, I like to start with the thumb safety. I think that's the easiest order of things. So the thumb safety cannot be all the way down. It also cannot be all the way up. So you have to find sort of a middle ground there, which is not going to want to stay out on its own because of the preload from the plunger spring here. So what you got to kind of do is wiggle it a little bit in between its 2 limits until it pops out. The plunger spring will usually jump out at you a little bit. You can pull that out, set it aside for now, and then finish pulling your thumb safety out. So now that the thumb safety is out, you can take out the grip safety. However, you will need to put the hammer forward first. Now the thing about putting the hammer forward when the slide's off is that you have to relieve it under control. So I like to just grab it with my thumb and index finger. You also need to depress the grip safety. Pull both of those, it can come forward. You don't want to let that come down under its own force because it will hit the frame, it can peen the frame and damage the hammer. So now that that's done, you can pull back on the grip safety, and if you kind of tilt it to the left, we have a groove machined on our grip safeties that allow it to be installed and removed with the mainspring housing in. So you can actually take that out. On some other models, you may actually have to remove the mainspring housing before you can get the grip safety out. But on this particular one, slides right out. You now need to remove the mainspring housing pin. This pin, you have to use a little bit of force to get it out because the pin itself has a groove machined in the middle of it to keep it where it's supposed to be. So you have to overcome that. You'll need some kind of punch, or if you have a mainspring pin tool, you can push right down on it. That'll pop right out of there. And now the mainspring housing will slide right out of the bottom of the gun. Next step will be to take the sear spring out. It's a leaf spring that we'll be pushing on the sear there. And then both of these pan head pins push from the right to the left side of the gun. The first one will be the bigger one. That's the hammer pin. Pull that out. Hammer will slide right out of the back. And then do the same for the sear pin. And this actually holds 2 parts, your sear and your disconnector. And they usually come out together since they're held in by the same pin. To remove the magazine catch, you'll need a small flathead screwdriver. Make sure that you line this up in the groove in the mag catch lock and push the magazine catch out about 1/8 of an inch or so while turning counterclockwise on the screw. When you get it into the right position, it will begin to turn. So turn it as far as it'll go, and then you can take your screwdriver out, and this will just push from the left to the right side all the way out. Now your trigger comes straight out the back. And that is how you fully disassemble a Cabot S103 1911.